driving this car is like having a stealth fighter if it weren't for that blingy grille at the front. But I think the most important thing is it doesn't matter what that grille looks like, because the driving experience in this is sublime. And underneath that accelerator pedal is a rocket propelled grenade, and you can sit 6 people. This is the ultimate family MPV. Now, whilst the world of EVs has been dominated by SUVs over the past few years, MPVs haven't really had a look in. That is until now, with this, the ZEEKR 009. Now, this is a vehicle which is meant for executives to be bussed around the city in the ultimate luxury. But I'm going to put this to the ultimate test, the toddler test. So will this pass with flying colours and become my new favourite family vehicle? Well, there's only one way to find out. Welcome to China Driver. So where do we start? Well, I think we have to start with that rather large elephant in the room of that blingtastic grille. Now, it's got 154 LEDs hidden inside, but it's a large lump of chrome front and center. Now, there is another version where this is the same color as the body, and it looks a lot more subtle. Now, this was all designed by the European ZEEKR design team in Gothenburg, led by someone called Stefan Silaf, I think that's his correct pronunciation, who used to work for Bentley. It looks like Jaws from James Bond. It doesn't actually look too bad in real life, though, I have to be honest. You look at it on the photos like, oh, that's a bit much, but in real life, it's not too bad. The rest of the front end, I think, looks fantastic. They've kind of carried on that ZEEKR design language, but this, according to Stefan, is not the exact direction they're moving in for future ZEEKR models. It's kind of like V1.0, this is what V1.1, next one will be V1.2. So they're kind of developing their own design language as they go forward. They've got these lovely sharp LED lights. That's your indicators, your lights. You've got big lights down here. And I just love how chunky and it really feels. What a fantastic looking kind of front end on this bit. I'm not convinced about that yet. But anyway, let's see how the sales figures go. So I have to admit, there are some really nice, subtle design touches on the ZEEKR. And you can tell that Geely, Polestar, ZEEKR, they're all connected, because this feels kind of a bit Polestar-like as well. Some of the really nice kind of very subtle design touches within the lights, you know, these are kind of some mottled, I don't know what they are, bits of plastic, I suppose, but just really lovely touches. And this kind of streaked pattern is along the side here, and it's got really subtle kind of nice design touches. It's not too big and shouty, apart from that massive Jaws-like front end. Now, a lot of the time with MPVs, there's always a compromise. You get 6 seats, but you'd have no boot space. It's not the case with this. In here, there's a camera there as well. You actually get a proper boot. Now, I've completely forgotten the number of litres this is. I'll flash it up on screen. But that is a proper boot, and comfortable for the backseat passengers as well. Now, I think if you pull this, is there another one? Yeah, you can move those forwards for even more space as well. It's all carpeted as well. It feels like my home back in the 90s. It's actually really nice. Stepping things up in the luxury department is what this car is all about. And that's why we've got push to open for one of your chargers is here. This is the slower AC charger, push to close. Lovely motion. And if we go to the back, we have our DC charger here. Lovely stuff. All lit up in LEDs as well. Now at the front end, luckily this Jaws-like grille does hide the world's smallest frunk. It's that big, and it's got a little ZEEKR bag and a warning triangle. That's it. The rest of this is plastic. You've got your fluid top up there. It's tiny. I mean, what practically can you really put in there? Maybe a few I don't know, cans of beer or one bag of shopping, but it does have it, so fair play to ZEEKR. You'll also notice on the front, it's got a few radar and sensor things. This does have some ability to view the road. Again, I'm not that interested in those features, but you know, I think it's got like lane control, lane assist and all of that. So again, for those long journeys, which this is all about doing motorway miles, not crunching around mountain roads, you know, it can do that very well. Done. As we're here, I just want to point out some more absolutely beautiful details. Now, this here is seamless. There's no like visible A-pillar on the outside. It's glass and glass connected. And it's just so slick in terms of design. It's so sharp, really helps that angular, bulky look, that slab side. I think that is a beautiful design touch, that the A-pillar is hidden behind the glass. And as you can see, it just kind of blends really nicely into the rest of the car. Such a lovely angle. I hope you can appreciate it as well. Now, what I do like is how slab-sided this is. It feels like a Grand Theft Auto kind of car. And that's not a bad thing because, well, look at it. A lot of the MPVs you see now are kind of blobby. They've lost their way since the first MPVs came out in the 80s with the Renault Scenic, I think it was. Fantastic design, like really forward thinking. And then since then, they kind of come swooshy and swoopy and blobby. Looking at you, Buick, Toyota Alphard, all a little bit too much. This is a real big statement, and I love how it looks from the side. Now, this is a big car. It's over 5 meters long. Has to be to fit those 6 seats on the inside. A few other nice design touches. I think the wheels are brilliant. They're the right size, great subtle design. Proper door handles. You need that on an MPV. Obviously, these are all electronic. Now, these doors are actually extremely heavy, but it feels quality. It feels like good quality car. It's got all the cameras down here as well. Now, hidden underneath the car is a 140 kilowatt hour battery. Now that gives it 822 kilometers of CLTC range. That's around about 520 miles of range. Now we've got about half a battery left, and it is pretty efficient, even though it weighs 2,830 kilograms. Yes, this is a beast. But to fit all of that and to have all of this space, you kind of need that. Now, the other thing is this is built on Geely's, I think it's SEA platform. So the Smart is also built on the same platform. And interestingly, this battery on the inside uses CATL's new Qilin battery. That's their new battery tech, their first 1,000 kilometer battery, I think they've said. So latest in battery tech, the latest in technology in this side, and probably the ultimate in luxury. So let's have a little look on the inside, because that is pretty special. Now, I think it's important for me to mention that getting into the back row of a car like this, an MPV, is always a bit difficult. Not in the 009. Press the button, this slides forwards. You've actually got proper space to get in the back. You don't have to crouch down too much, just easy enough to get in. I should have moved that forwards. Look at that, that's loads of space. But you want to watch me getting into this seat because, and no exaggeration here, this is the best experience I've ever had in a car ever. So let's just jump in. Easy egress and ingress. Now this feels, and I've said this before, like a first class aeroplane seat. It's unbelievable. It's so soft, the leather's soft. It's really comfy and squidgy. You know, you just sink into it like a 30-year-old leather armchair. It just feels right. I've got all the massage functions, air conditioning functions for the seat. I can move it up, down, left, right. I can put it on this mode, which pulls it all the way back, and I can lay down and watch TV because there's a TV up there. I mean, I want to be sat here and not driving it. For the first time ever, I actually want to be in the back. But this is great for a businessman or businesswoman who has got work to do, because you've also got your hewn from solid metal, this, with leather on top, proper desk. You could actually do work. I don't know, you watch TV, do some work. Very comfortable. But we're not testing it for that. We're testing it for toddlers. Now, the good thing is it does have ISOFIX on both this seat and that seat. The bad news is it takes 2 people about 5 minutes of lots of sweating and grunting to actually get the seat into place. We did get there eventually, and my son absolutely loves it. It's all carpeted in here. How lovely and luxury is that to have like a proper thick shag pile carpet? I've got my individual air conditioning, big buttons to open and close. It's always confusing when you try and open a car like this. It's like, how do I get out? What do I press? Do I open it? And sometimes it doesn't work. Just says Kai and Guan. Very simple, both sides have that. But on the doors, on the inside of the doors, I've got an LCD screen which shows a clock. I've got up and down buttons. There's so much in here. There's more in this seat than there is in the driver's seat. It's incredible, absolutely incredible. Well done, ZEEKR. There are those big, thick, clunky doors. Now, for the... Finished, good. Now, for the driver, it's extremely comfortable. And I've said before, this seat is wonderful to sit in. I've got proper armrests for both my arms. It's fit for cruising for that 800 and whatever kilometer CLTC range, which is not very accurate, but you can just cruise in this. We've been cruising for about an hour to get down here. It was effortless, absolutely effortless. So I do have some features in here. You know, there's some fairly cheap plastic. I think this is like a piano black kind of, that is the one letdown in here, because the rest of it is lots of metal and leather and stitch stuff and this carpety feel and felt and whatever, you know, it's lovely. But there's a few materials in here don't really do it for me. They've got this pattern on here, which I'm not really a big fan of, but minor details in what is a fantastic MPV. However, if you're the passenger here, I don't know why would anyone sit here? I don't know. If you're the passenger here, it's barren, it's featureless. You've got nothing. You can, you know, look at this screen, but you've got no massage seats. It doesn't flip up. There's no air conditioning. I think you just move it backwards and forwards. So if you get in one of these, don't get in this seat, get in the back. I mean, yeah. Now, because this is a media car, not many people have seen it, which means it's getting a lot of stares on the road. Everyone's looking at it. It's like, wow, that's a striking design move. And yes, it is. But when you're on the inside, it doesn't matter because you don't have to look at it. Everyone else does. You just get to enjoy the sublime ride of this car. Now, when you're turning on such a big car like this, it's useful to have all these 360, 720 degree cameras because it really helps your views, because this is 5 meters long, not always the easiest to see around. But the driving experience, my word, like we're doing about 50 kilometers an hour. It's as quiet as a whisper in here. Like, I think they've really thought about how to sound dead in this car, because you can't hear anything. You can't hear the whine of the motors. You can't hear anything. And then you pair that with this feeling of driving it, of floating on air. That's thanks to the air suspension in this model. The other model has regular suspension. It's just sublime. Now, I've never been in a Rolls Royce, but this is how I imagine a Rolls Royce to be. It's just on another level. Now, the car comes in 2 flavors. There's a we version and a me version. Basically, one is better than the other. The first one starts, I think, 488,000 RMB. The first one starts at 499,000 RMB, and the second one is 588,000 RMB. So, yeah, it's definitely not cheap, but for this amount of luxury, I mean, there is a market for this. Some people absolutely love having one of these because it's so unique and so different. You know, and I can see the appeal of something like this. Oh, let's check out the turning circle of this. We're doing a UE. Doesn't have rear wheel steering, I don't think. Oh, impressive actually. Pretty good for something so big. Yeah, I can 100% see the appeal of these. Will it meet toddler spec? Well, we'll find out later when my kid gets back in the car. But yeah, of course, I wouldn't go for the white leather. Definitely not. That's going to get very grubby. I'd go for something a bit darker. But if you want a big family car, which can easily get around, you get loads of stuff in the back, and it's electric, you don't have much choice. But what ZEEKR have done with the 009 is really just instantly blown it out of the water. Said, yeah, this is the best. This is the best. I don't know any MPV which compares to this, even petrol. And the added bonus is if you're not getting driven around by someone, which is typically normally the case, and you're the driver, the best part about this is that it drives really fast. It's got fantastic acceleration. Look, slight delay. It should not be going that fast for something which weighs 3,000 kilograms, but it does. But that's more useful for overtaking people on the motorway if you need to quickly duck in and out of traffic. It's got the brawn, it's got the luxury, it's got everything. What a fantastic all-round car. Big fan of this. Now, if we try and reverse this, the wing mirrors angle themselves, so they're much better. They're actually quite big, which really helps obviously with looking around. But I've got this fantastic cameras underneath showing exactly where my wheels are. But I don't really need that. I can use all of these regular mirrors, but I mean, it's there for extra safety if you need it. Again, very easy. And the steering's so light, like super light, but not so light that you feel disconnected. It's definitely got some feeling in it. It's not, I mean, it's not a sports car. It doesn't feel that connected to the road, but it's got a little bit of feeling. You can feel it. It doesn't creak, it doesn't groan, it doesn't struggle. You know, it's just a very good all-round MPV car vehicle thing. I wonder how fast we can go in reverse. Fast. I don't want to go any faster and break it. It's like the one media car in Shanghai. Everyone's after this one. So does this pass the toddler test? Yes, I think it does. This can be a very good MPV for the family, not just for businessmen who need to work on the move. Now, I absolutely love this. I think they've built a very well-rounded package. My only gripe is that price, because it is a little bit expensive. People want practicality, but they want it at a more affordable price. This will have a market, of course, but I think I would like to see some of this tech, some of this design language start to trickle down into maybe some cheaper or slightly smaller MPVs in the future. But as a statement, as a first kind of go from ZEEKR in this segment, oh my word, they've done a fantastic job. So well done to them. So thanks for watching today. See you again next time. Bye-bye.